Welcome to the Marketing Mortgages Social for Brokers podcast. Today, I have with me an expert in YouTube adverts, and it's Louis Adkins from Labs Media. Now, Louis helped mortgage advisors up and down the country, specialising in creating bespoke lead funnels that target their ideal clients. And then through targeted advertising on the likes of YouTube and well thought out specialist lead magnets, he's been able to provide his clients with mortgage leads to help them grow their business. But today, he has kindly given up some of his time because he's going to be giving us the blueprint on how to get started with YouTube adverts, how to fine tune them, and he's also going to give us some insider tips on how to use them to your advantage as a mortgage advisor. So, Louis, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, mate.
Hey, Chris, thank you very much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Awesome. So the last one we had you on the podcast, I think you were still in your dorm, weren't you, when you were back at uni? Tell us about what's happened since then, since the last 12 months.
Yeah, so the last time I was on the podcast, I was running the business out of my university room. It was a dorm room as well. It was in halls, proper uni room. So I started it there in my second year. My third year was when I was back in halls. So I was running it out of there. And then since then, took a bit of time away from the business because I thought I'd be able to do a dissertation and a business. Turns out I was horribly wrong. And I had to pause the business for a little bit whilst I focused on actually getting my degree. And got that. And then, basically just finished uni. And over the summer, just started cracking on, going full time into it. And it's been going really well.
Launched straight into the business, straight out of uni. And I'll tell you a bit of a story as to why I've got a lot of respect for Louis, because there is a lot of a stigma, I'll be honest, about your generation, Louis, that they want things handed to them. And there's a very entitled, a lot of people think that a lot of younger people are entitled at the minute. But let me tell you a story as to why I was like, Louis is completely different. We got chatting on LinkedIn. I think it was through Ash Borland that we knew of each other. And I was texting him and said, look, have you got some time to chat? Just have a little chat, see what you're doing, see how you've got into this industry. And he was like, yep. I said, right, okay, well, I'm out on a walk tomorrow morning at 7:30. I know it's really early and most people don't, but have you got any time? And Louis was like, yep, absolutely. So I phoned him, didn't realise he was in uni at this point. He told me the story about how he's at uni. I was like, Louis, it's a Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. You are a student. Why are you not hungover? And he was like, all of the other people in your dorm were hungover asleep, he says, but I don't really go out because I'm running this business alongside doing my degree. And that was just like my eyes lit up. I was like, yeah, this is the kind of guy that is a good one in the business, but has that great work ethic. And a lot of mortgage brokers listening to this will resonate with that they maybe did their CMAT whilst they were at another job, or they're working files late into the night or early morning. So massive kudos to you, Louis. It's a massive thing that stuck with me ever since we started speaking, mate.
And I appreciate that. I just put it down to I'm obsessed with it, and I find it's my hobby and it's the thing I absolutely love doing. So I'd rather do that than go out a lot of times. So that's why I do it.
Awesome. And then we're going to get an insight now into all the work that you've been doing over the last couple of years for people. So YouTube adverts is a way that you get people, get prospective clients to a lead funnel. And anybody that hasn't listened, go back and listen to Louis on the podcast before, because he talks about what lead funnels are. But essentially, somebody downloads a really useful PDF or a video, you get their email address, they go in at the top of the funnel, and then you hit them with well-timed and well-thought-out emails in the hope that at the end of that series of emails, they will book an appointment with you, as long as you've given them enough value and they're in a position to act on it. So that's essentially what the funnel is, but please go and listen to the old episode. And Louis goes into a lot more depth and a lot more expertise than my layman's term explanation of it there. But to get people to that funnel, we need to get them interested about the company. And the way that Louis does that is using YouTube adverts. So let's get a bit of a background. How did you get started with YouTube adverts, Louis?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So the best way to answer it is, I think there's always been a big debate, I feel, since I've been in financial services about, is it Google ads or Facebook ads? Like, which one's better? Should I run Google ads or should I run Facebook ads? Because Facebook ads are low cost, but then Google ads is high intent. So which one's better? And for a while, I always used to be on like the Google ad side of thing. And by the way, YouTube is a version of Google ads. But when I'm just saying Google ads, I mean like the classic your Google search ads where your website appears number one on the search page as a sponsored ad. And for a while, I used to be on the side of the Google ads when I didn't really do funnels that much. I just used to do Google ads, run it to the mortgage advisor's website, fill in a contact form, that kind of thing. But I started to get obsessed with funnels, and I realized the generic Google ads that people run aren't very good for funnels, because you need to give a bit of context, because people, they don't click on a website expecting to see a PDF guide and a page all about PDF guide. They go there, expect to see a website, have a little scroll, that kind of thing. So I then went to Facebook, and I tried Facebook for a while, but what I found is that Facebook was difficult to target people for mortgage advisors, because there's no way of actually knowing if these people are interested or actively ready to get their mortgage. And I was like, the beautiful thing about Facebook is you can run video ads, you can run image ads, so you can tell people like why your lead magnet is the best thing in the world and they have to download it. You can't do that on Google. So that's what's great about Facebook. But then on Facebook, there's no way of knowing if those people are interested in a mortgage. Whereas on Google, you can obviously target people who are searching, get a mortgage. And so I was like always torn between these two. I was like, ads on Google is so great because you can target intent, and Facebook's great because you can do videos. And then I can't remember why. I was actually sat in my uni room and I was on YouTube watching something, and I got a YouTube ad up, and I was like, these YouTube ads, I've never actually learned that much about them or how they work. So I watched a video quickly just about how does YouTube ads work. And basically, it's kind of like running a Facebook ad, but you target in the way that Google does. And so you can target people who are searching on Google, because Google owns YouTube, get a mortgage. And then when they're on YouTube, you can show them video ads. And I remember I was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. And I have quite a close relationship with Ash Borland. And I remember WhatsApping him. I was like, Ash, do you know about YouTube ads and how like they're the most amazing thing ever? Because I was saying to him, like, for mortgage advisors, they're amazing, because the biggest problem is you can never know on Facebook if people are wanting a mortgage, but then also on Google, you can never be creative and flexible. And I was like, these are like the solution to all those problems. I can show people videos and I can show them to people who are actually looking for mortgages. And that's why I was like, I've got to learn how to do these, and I've got to start doing them for people. And that's why that's why I love them so much. And that's kind of how I started. That's kind of how I stumbled across them, is because
it's like a mixture between a Facebook ad, because you've got the power of the video and you've got the power of giving some context to the lead magnet. But you've also got, because YouTube's the second biggest search engine in the world, isn't it, behind Google? So you've got people searching in YouTube. So you can bring those two things together to be really powerful. So that's really interesting. So say if I am a mortgage advisor, Louis, and I say, right, I want to get started with my YouTube. I want to start running YouTube ads. Where do I start? Talk to me as if personally, I've never done a YouTube advert before. So tell me, how do I set up a YouTube ad?
Yeah, so I'll go like there's the technical side of things, which is like the ad stuff and actually making the ads, and then there's like the framework of having the right strategy.
Okay.
And so I'll probably start on the strategy side of things, because the technical side is great, but if you don't have the right strategy behind it, then it's probably not going to work that well. And so what I always do before I make a YouTube ad, the first step I always start with, and this is great because every advisor can think about this, is the first thing I'm always thinking about is like, who is the person I'm going after? And it'll make sense why when I talk about the technicalities of targeting on YouTube, but who is the person? And then I'm thinking, if it's like a first-time buyer or self-employed, I'm thinking about, okay, once I know who the person is, what things are they going to be searching for to find out about me? So if it's a self-employed person, they might search, how to get a mortgage as a self-employed, or mortgages for self-employed people, or best mortgage for self-employed. And that's why I spend a lot of time thinking specifically about the niche or the area I'm targeting, because then I can think of the things they're searching, but also the websites that they visit. And then now I'll go into the technical side of things. And then, because the reason is, when you're setting up, you first of all, to start YouTube ads, you would set up in a Google ad account. So you'd go to, I think it's ads.google.com is the URL off the top of my head. You create your Google account as normal. And then when you create a campaign, rather than clicking search, you just click video. and that would be you creating your YouTube ad campaign. And then it will take you through, to be honest, the steps are quite intuitive, and there's loads of content online, free YouTube videos, which literally take you through the process step by step of making your YouTube ad, of like setting up your campaign on Google.
Okay.
And it's quite hard to explain it step by step now without having the dashboard and things. So I go and watch YouTube
So there's
videos.
lots of steps that they will teach you how to do. Pretty much upload this video, write down the wording.
Yeah, so I'll go into how you do the videos. It's actually fairly straightforward, but what I think is really important to spend your time in is the audience that you target within YouTube, how you target it. So once you've got your Google Ads account and you decide, okay, you tell Google, I'm going to run a video campaign, which is YouTube. Google will then prompt you to say basically like, okay, you've got this campaign. Who do you want to show your ads to? And that's when this is when you're going to work out who you're targeting. And this is why Google is probably YouTube is probably the most powerful ad platform for mortgage advisors, is because you can target, and the two best ways I think for targeting as mortgage advisors are, you can target either by people searching terms, not just on YouTube, but also on Google. So you can target people who are searching for those terms, or you can target people who have visited websites and you put in the URLs.
Right. And can you do a list of URLs? Can you say, like, if people have visited one of these 50 websites in the last 28 days, put the advert in front of them? Clever.
Yeah. So, and this is why it's such a really like a very powerful way to do it, because, for instance, you could, if you're targeting, let's just say self-employed mortgages, you could target people who have searched self-employed mortgages. But then what I do is I go to a lot of banks or mortgage advisor websites, and I go to the little page they've got all about self-employed mortgages, and I copy the URL that has self-employed in it, and that's the people who have seen that page I target, because I know the majority of people who see that page are going to be people who want a mortgage who are self-employed, as an example. And I normally test the two, because for different audiences it's different. So I normally have one group of people. I normally say, okay, for this campaign we'll target the people who are searching on Google, and for this campaign we'll target the people who are visiting the website, and we'll see which one does better. And then,
okay, so it's not based on people that are searching within YouTube. It's based on people that are searching on Google and people that have been visiting websites.
Yeah, basically. So it's you can choose. You can either choose people searching terms on Google, like actually typing them into Google or YouTube, or people who have visited certain websites.
That's interesting. I never knew that. I always thought it was based on YouTube. Whatever you search on YouTube, it'll bring up similar ads. But when you see an advert about trainers, it's because you've been researching trainers on Google. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I've set that advert up, and I've now got my audience that's targeted at people that are searching self-employed mortgages on Google. And then I've also got an audience set up targeting people that have visited self-employed mortgage pages. Mm-hmm. What should I be looking at spending per month on my adverts, and how does it work? Does it work like Google where it's per click, or does it work on Facebook where it's per reach?
Yeah, so this is what I really like about it is, like, obviously the beauty of Google ads is that you can charge per click, which is good because then you're only being paid for the people who are seeing your ad and deciding they want to use it. Whereas Facebook, it's like you're just showing it to a bunch of people, like casting a wide net. Whereas YouTube, again, it's kind of like the middle ground where it's, obviously you've probably seen a YouTube ad and it pops up and you have 5 seconds, and normally everyone's sat there spamming the skip ad button. But you've seen it pop up. Well, if you skip the ad, you wouldn't get charged for that. You only get charged if the person stays watching your ad after the skip button has gone down. It's called an engaged view. Okay. And what's really good about that is that at the start, what I do in all my ads is I call out exactly who I want. So I'll say something like self-employed people looking for a mortgage in the next 12 months. Well, if that's not you, you're going to skip the ad, and then therefore I'm not going to get charged for it. And the only people I'm now getting charged for are ideally self-employed people who are looking for a mortgage, because that's who we've called out right at the start. So that's
a
how
great way to reduce the ad spend, isn't it? To make sure that you're only getting engaged people. So how much should they spend on a monthly basis?
I mean, ideally, on a monthly basis, it obviously depends on the size of your brokerage. Like, if you're just one person, how many people can you feasibly be putting up with? I mean, I look at generating appointments for £30, like an appointment in ad spend.
Okay.
So if you look at how many appointments could I feasibly take on, not just appointments though, you've got to think about client service. So like you might think, oh, well, I only want 10 appointments because that'll be 3 clients, but cold traffic probably won't convert as well as like referrals and things like that. So you're probably going to need more appointments, which means you might want to look at like 30 appointments, which is making you closer to around £900. I do typically say try and have a minimum of £1,000 a month and work up to spending £100 a day. Like that's where you want to be at, just so you can get enough data and information to know what's working, what's not. But a lot of people, this is a very new thing for them, for a lot of advisors, and to kind of dip your toe in the water and just like, you know, try it out, see if it's working without having to fully commit a lot of money. I always say a nice way to start is just whatever a client is worth for you, whether that's £1,500 on average, spend that in a time frame that will get you the amount, is not going to overburden you with leads. That obviously, say an average case size is £1,500, you're not going to want to spend that in a week, because if you're a one-man band, that will flood you with leads and you won't know what to do with it. So take the average amount you would make for one successful customer and spend that over a time frame that would give you a sufficient amount of leads to keep you busy at a reasonable level, is what I would say as a starting point.
Okay, so I hadn't actually pre-prepared this question, so I don't mean to catch you off guard here, Louis, but
It's fine.
are you talking about when you've run those adverts, say it's £30 per appointment, are we talking about, there's a video that goes up, self-employed people that are looking for a mortgage, we can help you, get in touch with us. Do they then click and book the appointment, or is it self-employed people with mortgages, we can help with our free download it, and then a week later 30% turn into an appointment? Is it a direct click to book an appointment? Is that how people act on YouTube, or is it a longer process of they've got to download the PDF and receive all the email funnels?
Yeah, again, this is why it's important to like understand the customer and know who you're targeting, because the people are searching for mortgages, so they are more likely to want to proceed. But what I do in my funnels is like the ad will offer the free valuable information, the lead magnet, and then once they download that, instantly on the next page, it will offer the appointment straight away to those people. And if they don't book it in, they then get emails over the long period of time.
Oh, okay, right.
So the reason that we do it this way, and I am actually testing at the moment, doing it without a lead magnet and just seeing what happens if we just do the appointment on YouTube. Let's see what happens. But the reason I do it this way is because in the ad, we can offer the valuable information because that allows us to stand out to everybody. If rather than saying, hey, book a call, which every broker says, if we can start saying, first-time buyers, I put together this first-time buyer bundle of loads of helpful stuff that's going to help you with your mortgage. And then once we've shown that we're really helpful, we're different, we stand out, we then offer the appointment.
Right.
That's how I do it. And when I'm saying £30 for an appointment, that's in ad spend. The reason that it's around that amount is because typically I want 3 people who download the lead magnets. I want one of those people, 33%, to book an appointment.
Okay, awesome.
So
No,
that's
it's just interesting to know if it was a direct call to action advert or if it was an advert asking them to do something. Okay, and then this is the question that I'm sure you get asked a lot, and we had a little chat about this before we came on. But what's the normal return on investment you'd normally expect from YouTube adverts? I know you say it's £30 per lead, but what should you normally expect? If I spend £1,000, what return am I going to get on that?
Yeah, so obviously it's a question every single advisor wants to know, right? And the reason why I'm sometimes a little bit hesitant to answer an actual monetary figure is because it depends on so many things. So I always focus on, in your ads, what are the results you can actually control from your ads, which are like, obviously there's the ones that like how many people see it, how many people click it, but also how many leads are generated, how many people booked appointments, how many people showed up to those appointments. They're your indicators of how well your ads are performing. Basically, are people booking appointments and are the right people booking appointments? And then from that point on, the ad's not really responsible for if you make money or not, because it depends on your process, how much you charge and everything like that. So when we talk about return on investment, it can depend on a lot of things. So the way I would typically look at it is just, I can generate downloads for lead magnets anywhere between £5 to £8, which is leads, which is an email, phone number, and a name. So if you're looking at contact inquiries, around £5 to £8, and then I'm getting booked appointments for around £30. So I would just say, if you target those as your benchmark metrics,
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to do it.
And then that's how I would do it basically. Target those to see, as opposed to a return on investment, and then calculate it. Always calculate it. 6 months down the line, when your applications come through, work out, okay, these leads came from the ads, how much did we make, and then, but that's what I would target initially.
Okay, cool. So £5 to £8 for a lead magnet download. And again, we're not speaking about lead magnets on this podcast. Please go back and go and listen to Louis' episode that he talks about that. But then £30 to turn that person from a click on a YouTube advert into an appointment. So I'm now a mortgage advisor. I have got my audiences set on Google and YouTube. I have now put my ad spend in. I've got an amount that I'm comfortable with. How much time does it then take for me to manage them should I be managing them every week, every month? What do you recommend, and how long should it take me?
Yeah, well, I think there's a really important point here, which is where I see quite a lot of advisors do it, especially ones who are starting out, one-man bands especially, which is a lot of people think with Google ads that you need to be like, they're putting the ads live, they're excited, they want to see it working, so they spend a lot of time in the ad account, a lot of time. And they make a lot of changes. And actually, your best thing for the first 14 days is to make sure, like, check in every now and then, but you kind of want to just leave it alone, which sounds really weird. But if you set the bid strategy that I use is something called maximize conversions, which is the one that Google will automatically put you on anyway when you're using a YouTube ad campaign, I believe. The reason why you do that is you almost leave it alone for 14 days. It never used to be like this. This sounds like very weird advice, but the reason why is because Google's AI and its way of learning is so sophisticated now that if you put 2 ads into your ad account and you load your campaign and you say, hey, go for 14 days and I want you to optimize my campaign for conversions, it takes Google's AI about 14 days to learn who are the right people to see the ads, which people download the lead magnet, which people book in appointments, what is the best way, what's the best time to run the ads, what are the best locations to show people the ads to. It takes account all of these things in 14 days. And then from that 14-day period, pushes it out and uses your full spend to show it in the most optimal way. And whilst it's learning, you don't want to change stuff because it's like anything. You don't want to, you don't run a test and then halfway through the test change something because then you don't know if it's worked or not. You have to set it up for 14 days. It can be quite scary. And even now I find it hard sometimes when I set an advisor and like the first couple of days you just see spend, you don't really see anything happening. You're like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? It could take 7 days before you see something happen. And it can be quite scary. Yeah. But then after that time, after Google's learned the like results you get from it, from giving it that time, outweigh the time it's spent to go down.
So as a mortgage advisor, having that patience for 14 days will save me money in the long run, because if I keep changing it every 4 to 5 days, I've got to spend that money to allow Google to read my account and work out what's the best way to push these adverts forward.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay, cool. Right, that gives me a good understanding. My next question was going to be around setting audiences on YouTube. And I know you answered it in essence, but when I'm on YouTube and I'm setting up my account, you can set audiences for people that are searching on Google. But does it allow you to kind of like hone down on ages or like areas that live in the country? How does YouTube offer that like Facebook does?
Yeah, so you can target based off interests and affinity targeting, it's called on YouTube. Typically for new accounts, though, I would never target that way because it's like, for definite when you're targeting someone who's searching for a mortgage that they're interested in. When you're targeting someone who like Google has labeled as someone who's interested in mortgages, that could be someone who just has clicked on a couple web pages or something. and is not actually interested at
Right.
all. They're a mortgage broker even, and they just spend a lot of time looking at what other brokers are doing. So
Yeah.
it could be that. So I would say you can target that way, but yeah, by all means, location you can target. You can put a mile radius around your local area of 25 miles or something. You can target based off age. You can target based off parental status. You can target based off You can target based off gender. But on Google, the data is probably not as sophisticated as Facebook in the realm of if what gender they are or how old they are, because it's not something that's put on their profile like it is on Facebook. So there's a lot of the time it's like you can target 24 to 34 and unknown, because there might be some people
Right.
who are unknown. So yeah, but
All
yeah,
really
by all
interesting
means.
stuff. You can do it though; it can be there. But I think you've hit the nail on the head there with YouTube. It's a very different strategy to social media, and that's why you're trying to show the difference between them. Okay, so as a mortgage broker, I have now set up my account. I'm spending my money. I'm letting YouTube do its thing, where it's reading my ads and making sure it's been put up in the right kind of people. When I'm then watching YouTube, I have some videos where an advert appears before the video that I want to watch, but then others that don't. Does that get controlled by the person that owns the channel? Why do some videos have adverts and others don't?
I mean, if that's kind of like a question that's kind of open to interpretation to a degree. Like people
Oh,
will
okay.
say like what videos you'll see ads on and what videos you won't see ads on. But a lot of the time it's like, how many ads have you seen that day? Like YouTube's not going to probably want to spam you with ads 24/7, because then you're less likely to spend time on their platform. So sometimes it can be about finding a balance. Sometimes it could be because of how people are targeting. Sometimes it depends on. It could be like because Google have found in ads in the past that you've responded to that you're more likely to respond in the evening, so they don't show you ads in the morning. Or so it can be lots of things. So it could be a lot of things, to be
Really
honest.
interesting. Okay, and then my final question: what if my ideal client, the person that I want to target, what if they don't tend to use YouTube very much? Can you target them in other ways? What would your recommendations be?
Yeah, so you could by all means target them in other ways, and that's fine. I always think that it's always good to work out like what is the best way to target your ideal customer. But I would I would like combat it and say that the majority of people do spend some time on YouTube. Like I have
Yeah.
my granddad's 82 and he watches YouTube and he watches like stuff on Roman history and stuff on YouTube, and he's 82. I watch YouTube. My little sister watches YouTube. So that they do
Yeah.
spend time on YouTube.
And that's the reason I wanted to ask that question. I know it was a bit of a misleading one, but you've answered it exactly how I was thinking about it. Everybody uses YouTube in one way or another. Not, we weren't going to talk about this actually, but to a nice finish to it is TikTok is fast becoming a very informative platform, isn't it? People are going to TikTok to say if it was to fix a sink, for example. You would normally go to YouTube, how do I fix this sink? But I think a lot more people are going to TikTok now, aren't they, for that short, sharp burst of information. What do you think to that?
Yeah, I think more people go to TikTok when they're bored or trying to fill time, like they're waiting in line for the coffee. But I don't actually like use TikTok myself. So if that's like a recent kind of trend, then I probably wouldn't be able to know, because I know like when I'm searching for a problem, I do go to YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
I never answered the question, by the way, about like how you upload your ads and things to YouTube.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Please enlighten us.
But it's literally like if you have your YouTube channel, you just post them as an unlisted video, and then like
Okay.
you post them as an unlisted video to your channel. I do have like a framework of what I would say for what is a good YouTube ad, like how to structure your actual video, which I can talk about, but I don't know how much time we have.
I think what would be best is could you give us a link where people could listen to or go and download that, Louis? Would that be possible?
Yeah, I did do a LinkedIn post on it like a couple weeks ago, so I might be able to find the link to the LinkedIn post, which is a 10
Okay.
minute video. and then it should
Okay,
all go
what
into
we'll
detail
do
there.
then is if you do want that framework, then please reach out to Louis either through, where's the best place to reach you, Louis?
LinkedIn, Louis Adkins.
Perfect. It's Louis Adkins, Adkins. So if you send him a message, he'll be more than happy to send that over to you. And if you do need any help, please reach out to Louis. He's fantastic at what he does. We deal with some clients between the two of us. I help with the organic side. Louis helps with their sales funnels. And it's good to have that joined up approach because you're making sure that you're hitting all different types of clients. As a thank you, we like to donate £10 to a charity of your choice, Louis, as a thank you for coming on. So which charity did you want to make the donation to?
Teenage Cancer Trust, please.
Teenage Cancer Trust. We will make that donation for you. Okay, fantastic. Louis, thank you so much for coming on and talking us through YouTube ads. If you haven't had a go at YouTube ads, this is what you're probably going to do. Go and set it up, have a little play with it. And then if you do realise you need some expert help, then reach out to Louis because I'm sure he'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, if you're going to start ads, I'd just start YouTube ads. That's all I'll say. So if you're thinking of starting ads, just do YouTube ads. That's what I've found.
Awesome. Great finishing sign off. Louis, thank you so much for coming on and thanks for imparting so much knowledge for our listeners. Really do appreciate it.
No, yeah, thank you very much for having me on. I do really appreciate it as well. So thank you.
Cheers. Catch you in a bit.